I have a few questions for the applicants who just matched into residency program. So what should applicants do after they match to the to any residency program?
First thing is easy. Contact the program. Let them know how happy you are that you matched to that program. Nobody ever gets tired of hearing that. And then second, reply to their emails. They're going to send you emails, the program director, the program coordinator, probably within hours even of the match, asking you for certain information or giving you certain information. So you should reply to them and get back to them with everything they need as soon as possible. It's amazing how every year maybe one or two people don't reply to my email after the match for a week, and it just sets up a bad impression for no good reason right away.
Absolutely. How should they handle the visa issue?
Right, can be complicated, very personal. There are two main visas, as you probably know, the H-1B and the J-1 visa. The H-1B is frequently the desired one simply because there are a lot of easier avenues to stay in the United States after you're done with your up to 6 years that you have for that visa, like getting a green card, etc. But the downside, of course, is you have to have for the H-1B step 3 done early, usually by even April 1st, just so that you can apply for that visa and start on time for the residency program by July 1st. The J-1 has 7 years that are attached to it, and it's an educational visa. The downside of that visa, of course, is that you'd have to either go back to your country after you're done with that time in residency, plus or minus fellowship, or find a J-1 waiver job, of which there are limited number in the United States.
Absolutely. What other key issues should they start working on?
I guess probably the biggest thing is finding a place to live. I mean, you have to have a place to live to go to residency, finding a place to rent. Many programs will not have their own housing to give out. A few will. Jacoby, for instance, does not have its own housing, but what we do is we have a list where we keep track of all of our current house staff and where they're leasing in the neighborhood. That way, when the first years are coming in, they can take over leases from the third years that are finishing and being graduated from the program. Second thing is you want to consider having a car if you're going to a program where you need to be able to drive to the hospital. Jacoby, for instance, we're lucky that most of our house staff rent within a few minutes walk of the building, so that makes it a lot easier, but that won't be everywhere you go. And then, of course, you need a US cell phone. A cell phone is so important for so many reasons nowadays, and even more so in a residency program, because frequently the electronic medical record will even be available on your cell phone to use and add efficiency to your day, like we have with Epic here. And so it's even more important to have a US cell phone that works well in your hospital system. And then lastly, I would say probably you should consider taking step 3 before residency starts. I know some places will tell you take a break after matching and you have your time off. I would say it's much more important to have step 3 out of the way so you can really focus on the things that are important in residency, like getting settled in, getting organized, starting research so that you can plan ahead towards fellowships. And it's such an amazing thing to have step 3 in the rear view mirror.
I think that's all great advice, especially for all the overseas applicants, the INGs, who haven't been in the US, to kind of get to know the system better with the US cell phone, renting a car, and renting a place, and also taking step 3 early. Any resources that they should be considering?
Yeah, I mean, there's two things that come to mind quickly. One would be that it's easy nowadays to buy a pole socks for 20, 25 bucks on Amazon or something like that. And it comes in very handy with patient care. You can just leave it in your white coat pocket and use it PRN. And then also, everybody has a stethoscope in medical school. But when it comes down to it, the internists, we're the ones that really need to be proficient at high use of that stethoscope. And not all stethoscopes are invented equal. I think, personally, the Welsh Allen Harvey DLX stethoscope is just so much better than any other stethoscope I've ever used. I hear things I was never able to hear before with other stethoscopes that I would suggest everybody consider buying that. That's going into internal medicine, at least. I don't own any stock in the company. This is just my personal suggestion.
Absolutely. I think all the people interested in cardiology would appreciate that advice.
They definitely need it.
So, last question. Many people ask what they should read between match day and starting residency. Any suggestions?
Yeah, I got two good suggestions on that one. First of all, the American College of Physicians, the ACP, they put out a product called the MKSAP, MKSAP, and it's a series of booklets, and it's available electronically as well, and has practice questions as well in internal medicine, and it's one of the most important resources that almost all the house staff use. to just generally advance in their medical knowledge and internal medicine, and to prepare for the in-training exam that happens really early on in your residency program. It's pretty much every year, end of August, early September. And then, of course, to take the boards exam, the ABIM exam at the end of the 3 years. It's one of the most important resources for that. So why not just join the ACP right after matching in internal medicine, and that way you get a discount on the Mix app, and you just get it right away and start using it even before you start the residency program. There's only upside to doing that. And the second resource I would suggest is for reading material, the book by Stephen Covey, Covey, called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I think that is probably one of the things that is the most important for becoming the most effective version of yourself you can be, even though the book has nothing particular to do with being a medical doctor. I think it's just overall so useful and such a great basis with which to become an effective communicator, an effective organizer, and these things are so important to the internist. I would highly suggest everybody read that. I think it's probably one of the most important things I did to take my organizational skills to another level.
Thank you for all the great insights. Thank you for your time.
No problem. I hope it helps some people out there.